ready, man?
Party people in the place to be. It's about that time for us to.
Yeah.
What's up, chiropractors? This is Dr. Nick Silveri, your guide up the mountain to $1 million practice. If you're looking for the roadmap to grow your practice fast, then keep on listening. This is the Path to $1 Million podcast, where I chat with today's most successful practicing chiropractors. And remember, if you want to get there faster, visit getmemorenewpatients.com to find out more about Leverage Media, the most comprehensive digital marketing agency for chiropractors on the planet. What's up, podcast? This is Dr. Nick. Today we've got a special episode. I was recently on the Remarkable CEO podcast with Dr. Stephen Franson. We were talking about the 4 seasons of a chiropractic career. If you don't know who Dr. Franson is, he is the founder of the Remarkable Practice and the co-founder of the Remarkable CEO. He and Pete Camiolo put that program together, and it's teaching chiropractors how to launch, build, scale, and exit in a practice the right way. And just couldn't recommend him and his programs strongly enough. Anyone that's ever having any problems with like systems or, their day 1, day 2, I'm always making sure that I'm sending them Stephen's way, because I believe so much in his coaching and in his mission, and he's such a good dude. And so I was very honored, because I believe I was the first interview on his podcast. So I was excited to do that. We had a lot of fun on this one, so I hope you guys enjoy and get a ton of value from it.
Well, Dr. Nick, we've got a format that we've been following here, and I'm gonna box you in a little bit on this, but we're gonna have some fun inside of it. So we're talking about the 4 seasons of the chiropractic career. Sure. So as you know, there's launch, build, scale, and exit. You've been through all 4 seasons in different businesses. Yes. Right now you've got multiple businesses going on, but I just want to double click on the practice first. Okay. So in the launch phase of your career in your current chiropractic office, what we'd like to hear is, that first year, when you were just starting up, when you're getting it off the ground, getting it started, in retrospect, in hindsight, that 2020, what would you have done differently in that first year?
I would have tried not to have a heart attack from stress at the age of 30. Yes. That would have been number 1. Yeah.
And that's not just a colloquialism you're using. No, that's a literal had a heart attack.
Yes, from stress. I already had a practice that I bought in a small town, and I started my existing practice from scratch. That was in October, and 4 months into it, I woke up one Saturday morning and I was having chest pains. And I'm like, I didn't pay that much attention to differential diagnosis, but I'm like, that doesn't seem good, right? So then I'm like, I started having some pain down my arm. And I'm like,
where have I read this?
Then I'm like, if this goes into my jaw, I need to go to the hospital. And it went into my jaw like 2 minutes later. Yeah. And so I drove myself to the hospital, which I think was probably a bad idea. And I ended up that was on a Saturday morning. I had to cancel my Saturday morning patients. And I had to check myself out of the hospital against doctor's orders on Sunday, because I had patients on Monday.
Right. Well, of course.
Yeah. Right. So the thing that I would have done differently is I would not have tried to have 2 practices when I had no idea how to do 1 practice. Every opportunity, I'm like, I can figure it out. So I would have stayed focused on the one thing, and I would have gone deep with that, gotten more training for sure, more coaching. It took me, I think it was like year 3 when I started to get coaching. And that would have been, I would have started out with coaching.
So you've got good instincts. You're a business guy at heart, by nature, as you said. You got lucky in the DNA, right? So I believe that. You're hardwired to be an entrepreneur, for sure, right? So I know you very well. Yeah. I'm honored to coach you and work with you closely, and I'm also friends with you. So I really enjoy watching the entrepreneurial spirit just show its face everywhere, which I love.
You don't ask for it.
No, I love it. I love it.
See, let me tell you 500 things that I think you could do to improve on this.
I honestly love it. So I know you would have been exceptional at anything you did. So it's fun, and it's great to watch these natural entrepreneurs end up as chiropractors, right? So that's what I think 20% of chiropractors they're just naturally entrepreneurial, and they happen to be chiropractors. Yeah. And we are so blessed to have a profession where you can actually be doing well while you're doing good, right? So, and we kind of found ourselves in chiropractic. So you had the instincts, you've got the natural talent. So very often, guys like you end up trying to do it on their own, right? So doesn't always lead to a heart attack at 30, what, 34?
30.
At 30.
30.
Yeah,
A couple months after 29.
Yeah, okay, yes. All right, so yeah, you heard that right, folks. So it doesn't usually end up with something that dramatic. Very often it shows up in other places, whether it's relationships or fitness or knowing your kids or just losing your joy, right? And usually in that first year as you're launching, you have enough just momentum. You just have so much excitement and novelty that you just kind of push through it. But then you find yourself in the next season, right? So then you find yourself in build, right? Build comes with its own challenges, right? So now you're there. You've figured out how to be an entrepreneur. You're comfortable in that role. You're a doctor. You're taking care of patients. You're adjusting, probably doing most of the lifting yourself at that point, right? And then you decide, all right, so I can actually start going and growing. So you start growing the practice. You're well into build now, years in, as I understand it. You're experiencing success. What were some of the challenges that you were facing then, and what would you do differently, just looking back over your shoulder?
So in the build stage, I took my advice from earlier and I simplified. So I got rid of my first practice, got down to one practice. So I was just in one place. I was blessed with, in hindsight, I was blessed with being a very mediocre chiropractor. So that it was easy for me to replace myself.
Yeah.
Right. So no one missed me that much when I replaced myself with my second associate. So it was easy because I've always been passionate about the business building and the marketing side of it.
Yeah.
And so I was 5 years in this practice. I was 4 years, 3.5 years into practice, into my second practice when I hired my second associate and stopped seeing patients to focus on the business side of it. The struggle that I had in this stage was I am not a natural born teacher. Within this podcast, I could give you the amount of training that I gave to my second associate.
Right.
When he started racking them and cracking them.
Right.
So I did a terrible job of training them, setting expectations, and it was not great. And so that led to a lot of challenges over the next 5 years or so. The thing that I would have done differently is I would have focused more on building a team instead of just assuming that they were going to figure it out the way I figured it out.
Right. So now we went right through build, jumped into scale. So now we're at scale. Okay. So which means you've got other professionals on your team that can deliver the value in your absence, right? Yeah. So we like to say scalability, which means that you're leveraging other people and systems and technology to be able to deliver more value, right? Yes. It's an amplifier. It's a multiplier, right? So that's scalability, right? Durability means that all of that can happen even in your absence, yes, right? And I know that you really, you began with that end in mind. You knew that you wanted to do things for chiropractic with chiropractors outside of your practice and serve chiropractic on a different level. Like you said, your passion is marketing. Yes. So talk to me about that. You knew that to begin with before you even brought in associate doctors. What was the big idea there?
My main core value is freedom. And when I was laying in the hospital bed at 30, I was like, I love chiropractic, but I'm not willing to die in my 30s from the stress of dealing with. And the stress that I was feeling was that I'm not very good at multitasking. So I loved seeing patients, but then it was really hard for me to take the doctor hat off and put the business hat on. Mm-hmm. I could either be the doctor or I could be the business person. And so I made a commitment then that I was going to start to get help. And so I got my first associate a few months later, and then I hired my second associate about a year and a half after that. Right. So that was really the moment where I realized that I needed to just focus on the things that only I could do and find people that were more passionate about treating patients on a daily basis. Because for me, I get a lot of stress from if I have to physically be in a place every single day against my will sometimes. Yeah. That's not my favorite thing in the world. So that was kind of the idea. And then when I hired my first, so I like to do the things that I'm really good at. And I like to put people in position to do the things that they're really good at. So it's easy for me to delegate things I don't like doing. It's harder for me to delegate things that I do like doing, which is most people, I would imagine. Marketing is something that I like doing. The problem is I'm a visionary, not an integrator or implementer.
Yeah.
So I hired my first marketing director in 2015, and all of a sudden the light bulb went on. I'm like, oh my God. Like, things started happening. Like, my ideas were just like, because she is a natural born implementer.
Right.
And all of a sudden things were happening. And I'm like, this is what chiropractors need. They do not need me to teach them another course on like how to do this thing. They need me to do it for them.
Right.
And so before all of these Facebook ad experts came around and bombarded your newsfeed, I came up with the idea that we should be doing a done-for-you service for chiropractors for things that they were never going to do on their own. So I'm a big believer in content marketing.
Yep.
This podcast.
Yep.
And this was where I was like, Gary Vee is my business idol, and he really pushes give value, give value, give value. And so we started a content marketing strategy, and it's evolved quite a bit over the years. But now we do it for other chiropractors, and we're able to introduce chiropractic to way more people than I could from my brick and mortar in Springfield.
So it's Leverage Media. Is the name of the company. The content marketing strategy, when people hear that, that's kind of an insider language for the marketing world. But, explain, unpack that a bit. When you say content marketing, people hear Facebook ads. Most chiropractors, there's a continuum here of what they understand. We have extraordinary fluency on one end of the spectrum, and then, man, I don't even have a Facebook ad. I don't have a Facebook account on the far end. So when you say content marketing strategy, what does that mean?
So if you think of marketing as, if you've ever heard of a marketing funnel is wide at the top and narrow at the bottom. So everyone that doesn't know that your practice exists is outside of this funnel. The only way that they can get into the funnel is if they become aware. So I'll use spinal screenings as an example because that is content marketing.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a bunch of people at a home show walking by. Those people are outside the funnel. They pass your booth and they look at it. They are now aware that you at least exist. They are now in the marketing funnel.
Yeah.
You have a greeter out in there saying, "Hey, would you like to get your spine checked?" Right. The ones that have no interest, they just keep passing by. The ones that engage move to the next stage of the funnel. It's narrower because there's less people at this stage. Those people say, yes, I would like to, right? Those people then do the screening. Some of those people are like, I'm good when you make them the offer. Others say, yes, I'd like to schedule an appointment. That is the conversion piece. That is where they become a potential new patient. And at the bottom of the funnel is where people come into the office. So what we do on the digital side of it is all those things, lunch and learns, dinner talks, spinal screens, the things that you have to physically go and do, and they are very unleverageable and unscalable. Social media has become the world's biggest spinal screen. Everyone is on Facebook, everyone is on Instagram, everyone is on YouTube, everyone's spending their time there, everyone's using Google to search. So what we do is we create content that will get in front of people when they're spending time on the platforms like Facebook and Instagram, and there will be content available when they're searching for solutions like YouTube and Google. So we help doctors create videos and blogs to create awareness about their practice and what makes their practice special. And then we utilize lead generation, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, all those things that turn people into patients. We're trying to merge the two of create good content, create good value for your potential patients and your community, and eventually turn those into people coming through your door that are going to act more like referrals than just somebody who saw a random $29 offer on Facebook.
Yeah, this is a huge concept, and I want to double back on what you just said there because people think that, and I'm just going to put those ads on the right-hand side and I'm going to have a $29 examination or free x-rays or something like that, and they're just putting, clickbait out there versus saying, I'm going to bring my message into a community that I can target, right? I can be very specific and selective as to who sees this, and I'm going to start to tell a story that I think is going to be relevant to a very specific group of people that I want to take care of. Right. I want to speak into their listening, right? And they say that in marketing, right? So ultimately, you're able to position yourself in the marketplace as somebody who's interesting, somebody who is an expert, and then build some level of trust with them, right? The big idea is know, like, and trust, right? So you want the person to start seeing you that, man, that person, she puts out great content, or man, another great piece of content. Next thing you know, you have a fan, somebody who's listening, and you're building trust, and they start to like you. People do business with people that they like, right? So it's such an easy, and I might add, free way, if you're motivated to do so, to get your content, get your story, get yourself in front of these people. And then once you see what gets traction, when people start responding and sharing and liking and commenting, you can start interacting with them, etc. And then you can start spending money pointing people towards something that's this is proven to be effective. This is actually getting a response. That old, adage of only 20% of your marketing dollars get you 80% of results. The problem is you don't know what 20% get you the results. That's gone away. You can actually, through analytics, understand exactly what your market's responding to, and then throw your money at that.
Yep.
So blows away the idea of like, what should your marketing budget be? Yeah. It's like, I don't know, how much is your ROI? It's like,
like it should be unlimited if you're positive ROI.
Okay.
And I talk to a lot of chiropractors. I hear them talk about their practice, and it's always, the really good ones are always about, I just want to get my message out there. I want my community to know what we do. And that leads me to say, so what are you doing content-wise? Are you doing videos? Are you doing a blog? They're like, oh, no, I do lunch and learns, I do dinner talk, and it's this heavy lift.
Right.
They've got to physically go and do it. Their staff's got to take off Saturdays to go do a smile screening. And I'm like, if you truly are trying to get a message out there, you have to deliver the message in the platform that people are consuming content. So if somebody's spending 8 hours a day on social media, it's a good place. There aren't that many home shows anymore. There's not that many opportunities. If you live in a small town that doesn't have a lot of places of employment, the lunch and learns aren't really like a thing. So we've got a client that is in Iowa with 2,300 people surrounded by Amish people. That is not an ideal environment for digital marketing, but he has such an opportunity to change the paradigm of what health is in his community, because he can pretty much reach everyone for a few dollars every time he creates a piece of content.
Right. He could be remarkable. He could be the talk of the town. He could be the only game in town.
Yeah,
because he is making that.
The other thing that I have noticed a lot with chiropractors is they all, at this point, the good ones all know that they should be creating content, and they especially think that they understand that they should be creating video. And whenever I do a strategy session, I look at their website, I look at their Facebook page, their Instagram, their YouTube, and their Google presence. And whenever I get to their YouTube channel or their Facebook page, I see that they have started content at something. And they always stop within 2 months because they don't know what to do with it. They have no they just heard someone tell them that they're supposed to be doing videos around something. And they're usually doing it wrong. They're usually not, doing the technical side of it correctly. They don't know how to spend money against it. They don't know how to retarget people. And I'm like, you guys are never going to, I could sit here and teach you every single thing that I know about digital marketing. You won't do it. Because the reason I have a done for you service instead of a course or a coaching program is because when I was in in practice, I would buy these courses on marketing, and I would never do it because I never had the time to do it because I was seeing patients. Right. And that's why I was like, it has to be done for you. And I'm leaving, Chiropractic is closing up today. And tomorrow I'm spending a private day for $10,000 with a top 3 Facebook ads guy in the world who just happens to be nearby. And that is something that no other chiropractor that is in practice is ever going to invest in. But I'm going to invest in it for them so that if they are a client, they get the most advanced strategies available to people with big businesses like you. Brick and mortars they just don't have access or the wherewithal, or they just don't care enough to learn at this level to then bring it back to a brick and mortar chiropractic office. Right.
All right, so dialing this back into the context of the 4 seasons, right? Yeah. So the difference between a job and a business is the scalable, durable, transferable piece, right? So a big part of this is leverage, right? To understand the power of leverage. So you're leveraging technology in this example. Like I'm an advocate of all three tributaries of new patients coming from marketing, right? So you should have internal marketing initiatives going on. You should have external marketing initiatives going on, and digital marketing initiatives going on.
And
right?
they should all work together.
There should be cohesion, right? Yes. So, and there should be a strategy against the plan, and execution is key, right?
Yeah. The
difference between an owner-operator and a CEO is CEOs are always looking for leverage, to play on your name. I love the name of your company. Yeah. You're always looking for leverage. Like if I can find somebody to hire to do something so that I can get back to doing what I'm uniquely gifted at doing, that's what I'm looking for. Right. I'm looking for ways to outsource, to leverage the people who are better than I am at it, and that I can buy their time, energy, and focus with my money. Yeah. Right. So I love done with you, done for you programs. Yeah. You're freeing yourself up, okay, so you can amplify everything you're doing, and you're going to get better outcomes. Yep. I love it.
Well, the thing that we are sitting here in a podcast studio in my hotel room because of that. If it were me, I would have just brought my phone down to the room, and we would have done an interview. Right. But because my video editor that I have for the agency is just obsessive about doing things the right way. The lighting is right. The audio is right. The video is right. And if I were to do it, I don't care enough about those details. Right. The quality would suffer.
That's right.
Right?
That's
so in any business that I have, and I'm getting better at just starting it this way instead of learning the hard way. In any business that I have, I am just going to do the stuff that gives me energy throughout the day as much as humanly possible. Because I want to end up with more energy. I work till midnight most days. Right. I mean, it's fun for me. Right. Business is a great time. But if I had to do a bunch of stuff that I am not equipped to do or that I do not enjoy doing, I would be taking a nap at 2 p.m.
Yeah. Now, I'm also an advocate of taking naps at 2 p.m. because there's your halfway point in your day.
But the Chiropractic, for example, the thing I am really good at is creating relationships, trying to provide value for other people and trying to help and just hanging out with your friends,
right?
And that's why I don't have a booth here, because if I had a booth, it's it would just be, that would be super draining. I would not be able to go have espresso martinis with you in a couple of hours, because I would just be exhausted at the end of the day, because I hate having to work a booth, but I love working a room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's really the difference. It's the exact same thing, but it's a positioning thing. And I enjoy it. And so at the end of the day, I have more energy. And if I did a bunch of stuff every day that I hated doing and that I knew I wasn't going to do, nothing would ever end up getting done. I'm just too, I've seen it be successful too many times, and I've seen it be unsuccessful many times. So I don't even start things that I don't want. Yeah. If I'm okay, I've got this idea, who else is going to do this? Because these are things that I know I'm not going to do, or it just doesn't even become a thing.
It's a sign of maturity, really, as a leader, as a business owner, is to be able to recognize this is the outcome that I'm trying to accomplish. Yes. These are the steps that it's going to take to manifest that outcome, and then understand these are the things I'm really good at, and that's what I'm going to do. These are the things that have to happen that I will not do because I'm either terrible at them or I just don't enjoy doing. They drain my energy, so I'm going to suck at it. Yeah. I'm going to procrastinate it. I'm going to make excuses. I'm going to tell stories, right? So first thing I do is I identify who are my operators, who are my implementers, who's my integrator, right? So I'm going to be who is going to do that, and that, or it's not going to happen. It's not even going to make it up on the planning board, right? First thing, lay out that path. I'm going to do that, and that, and everything else is going to get delegated. So you got to become a master delegator, right? So. Yes. All right, so let's double back.
Hold on, real quick, just because it triggered something in my head when you were talking about that. I think one of my real superpowers is I am so brutally honest with myself. Like when I said luckily I was a mediocre chiropractor, I was half joking.
Yes.
I'm so honest about what I am good at and what I am not good at. And I think a lot of times people, I was talking to somebody about this, but they build their jail cells around them like a block. They're like, God, I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate this. And they just keep building and building. But I'm like, but you just said you hated it. Like, why are you still doing it? And I'm like, it's just, to me, I will always give up profit. I will always give up time. I'm so hungry for the things that I enjoy doing that I don't know if it was because of the heart attack or it's just like it's become easier as I focus more on those things. But man, being honest with yourself is so, like having
I love that.
radical candor inside of your own head. Are you really going to do this?
Right.
You know, and if you lie to yourself, 3 years from now, you're just going to be miserable, even if you're successful.
No, I love that. That's a nugget. And this is values-based decision-making at its best, right? So it's, you recognize that freedom is your primary core value. We share that, right? So freedom, peace of mind, abundance, significance, contribution, that just is my filter to make my decisions as to how do I spend my time, energy, and focus and money. That's what your core values are for. And like you said, you're happy to spend your money to buy somebody else's time, energy, and focus to free up yours, right? So, all right, so to recap, just to double back on this, I love this. This is very contextual for what we're teaching, because what you've done is you started a chiropractic business in launch. You took it through build success. As you were building momentum, you recognized you had a calling to create something else to serve chiropractic on a higher level, on a more global, scalable way. That was following your core values of freedom and passion.
Let's not act like this is scalable. This is very unscalable the way that I do this because it's being done the right way. Hopefully, eventually we'll figure out how to scale it.
I was going to say, this business leverage is in launch, right? Yes. And it's going into build now, into the build season, right? So you've got two businesses that are running not parallel; they're in succession, right? So you had to take your chiropractic practice to the place where it was truly scalable. So it was scalable and durable, right? The durability is being proven because you're not in there and it's still
3 hours away.
You're 3 hours away from your practice. So you achieved scalability, then durability, which freed you up to launch another business. And now this business is in build, soon to go into scale, right? So this is a perfect illustration of these 4 seasons as this natural progression of the chiropractic career or any entrepreneurial career.
Yeah, I am not. This is one thing. I create babies. Like these businesses become like my children. I don't have my own children, so these businesses and the dogs are my children. So but I like the option to be able to exit. Like I don't think I'll ever exit my office just because it is so it's so well run. I have such a good team, but I always want to have the option. Just like when people talk to me about like, how did you do that? How did you get into practice? Well, I would still want to see patients. That is your choice, but right now you do not have a choice. You have to show up on Monday.
Yeah, there's a difference between getting to see patients and having to see patients, and we all know the difference, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, all right.
Everyone in this conversation does.
Everyone in this conversation.
I think sometimes people do not know the difference.
Yeah, just the getting to and having to. All right, folks, so what you've heard here is just a great success story, and it's unfolding. So we're excited for you, Dr. Nick. Pleasure working with you, and thank you for being such a great illustration of this progression.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You're one of my favorite people, if not the favorite person in chiropractic, and the Remarkable CEO program. I'm so excited to just crush it through all of these stages, and I just love being right by you.
Thank you, brother.
Just because this episode is over doesn't mean you can't continue your path to $1 million practice. We've created chiropractic's most full-service marketing agency at Leverage Media to help you reach $1 million a year fast and continue to grow. You can get a free strategy session with me absolutely free right now. To get started, go to getmemorenewpatients.com. Once again, go to getmemorenewpatients.com, and we'll see you tomorrow on the path to $1 million.